अनंतकरुणापय्यम तथागतम अनुत्तरम वंदामि शिरसा बुद्धम धम्मम साधुगणम पीच. Most venerable Bhikkhu Mahasangha, distinguished scholars sitting on the dais, Professor Rabindra Pantji, Director IBC New Delhi, Professor C. Upendra Rao, Senior Professor School of Sanskrit and Indic Studies, JNU, Professor Ramesh Prasad ji, Dean Faculty of Sarvan Vidya, Sampurnana Sanskrit University, Varanasi, Dr. Anand Varshan ji, Bhikkhu Anand, Most Venerable Bhikkhu Anand, and Professor Arvind Rituraj of Central University of Jammu, and faculty members of our Samrat Ashok School of Buddhist Studies of Subharati University, as well as all the brothers and sisters who are sitting on the dais, and young blooming students of this Subharati University. It gives me immense pleasure to get associated with you all people on this great event, on which day we are remembering in reference, great reference to our Bhikkhu Dharma Rakshit ji, whose birthday is being celebrated today. In honor of his birthday, this Pali Society of India is organizing one day international conference. I pay my great salutations to Most Venerable Bhikkhu Dharma Rakshit ji, in whose remembrance we are sitting together here, and we are recollecting the contributions of Bhikkhu Dharma Rakshit ji also. And we are very much fortunate and thankful to our Subharati University also for organizing this event in this Satyajit Ray Auditorium. For today's topic has been chosen in a very right perspective to the works and contributions of our Venerable Bhikkhu Dharma Rakshit ji, who fought his whole life for the equality and fraternity among the community at Sarnath and other places. So the topic has been very much rightly selected by the organizing committee of this Pali Society of India, that equality and fraternity in Buddhism. When we go through the all Tipitaka, we find that how Buddha talks about equality, and he says that all people are equal, no one is inferior or superior. Buddha talks about the purification of all human beings. Chattaro banmanna samsamahunti and chattaro banna parisujjanti. Buddha says that all human beings are equal and they are capable of purifying their consciousness and getting a state of eternal bliss. Further, Buddha says that whosoever thinks that I am the superior one and others are inferior, he is engrossed with evil deeds. Papakam dithigatam. They are engrossed with the evil. So he talks about it that all are human beings. Buddha also talks about the 4 types of parisaj in our Pali literature. We will come together again. But before that, Buddha talks that Kshatriyas are superior among all the human beings. In the Ambatta Sutta, Buddha says that Khatiyo Settho Janatasmin, that Kshatriyas are excellent among all the human beings. But he further says that Vijjacharan Sampanno So Settho Dev Manusyanamti. Again in that sutta, that those Kshatriyas who are associated with the Vijja and Charana, that is the Seal, Samadhi and Panya, they are the excellent one, not only in the sense of the Kshatriyas. In the Pali Tipitaka, we also find that there are 4 types of varnas, namely Brahmanas, Kshatriyas, Vaisyas, and Sudras. Buddha gave another order of that, that is the Kshatriyas, Brahmanas, Vaisyas, and Sudras. But in Pali Tipitaka, we find that there are other 4 stratification of the order of the human beings. He talks about the Bhikkhu Parisa, Bhikkhuni Parisa, Gahapati Parisa, as well as he talks about the Upasak Parisa. So there are 4-fold classifications of the human beings which was met by the Blessed One. And he talks, sometimes we are also finding there are 8 parisas in Pali literature. And if you go through the Asalayana Sutta, Madhur Sutta, and Kinchi Sutta, we find that how Buddha talks about all these things. In the Asalayana Sutta, Brahmanas are claiming that they are the superior one. But Buddha denies this, and he says that by taking birth only in the Brahmanas, one is not a superior one. And he gives the examples that how on the basis of the karma, that is the deeds, a person is excellent or he is the supreme of. In the Sutta Nipat also we find that how Buddha says that na jacha hoti vaslo, na jacha hoti brahmano, kamuna hoti brahmano, kamuna hoti vasalo. So Buddha talks about on the basis of the karma, one is the superior one is the excellent one. And these 4 types of parisas which were established by the Blessed One, he talks about all these things in all these things. And he talks that even those parisas, they are following the Vidya and Charana in the form of a Panchasil, Dasasil and Atasil. They can get purification of their consciousness. And in the whole Sutta, we find that how Buddha talks about the equality of all the human beings. Sometimes we find that he is very much inclusiveness in nature also, whenever he talks about it. And related with this inclusiveness, he says that the other religious orders, they are propagating their dhammas or their thoughts. They must not be taken in that way. And if you find the eightfold path in those teachings, then you can accept it. Otherwise, you do not accept it. So sometimes we see that how he talks about the inclusiveness thought in the Pali Tipitaka. Again, related to equality, Buddha talks that how women are also equal than the man. And he says that women can also get a state of emancipation. They can also get a state of arhathood also. And in the Chatumahatuk Sutta, as well as in other suttas, Buddha talks about the talent of our theories. And sometimes Buddha says that theories like Dhammadinna, Patachara, they are more intelligent than the theory also. So sometimes Buddha preaches the theories also, and he says that women can also get a state of eternal bliss, they can get a state of emancipation. And in that way, they are equal then. And he says that it is another thing that Buddha was very much hesitant to form the Bhikkhuni Sangha. But after the repeated persuasions of our most venerable Ananda, he became agree. And he was very much conscious about it. The lifespan of this Dhamma, Sadhamma, will be shortened than to the 500. Otherwise, it will be go more than 1,000 years. But the history shows that how the Bhikkhuni Sangha is and the Sadhamma is also continuing till the present day, and it will be continued. So Buddha was very much conscious about all these things, that how women can get a state of eternal bliss. And in the Theras we see that how women are getting a state of emancipation or arhathood. Related to equality, Buddha also says that he was very much conscious of the socially marginalized people as well as stray religious orders also. We see that how he talks about the Angulimal, how the barber Upali has been made the chief of the Vinaya, and at the time of first Buddhist council, Upali was given the charge to rehearse all the teachings related with the monastic rules and regulations. So the socially marginalized people who were weaker sections, Buddha was very much conscious about it, that how they can be developed, how they can get a state of also eternal bliss. So in that sense, equality is also there. The fourth aspect related to equality is that how the other religions, in Samaya Phala Sutta, we see that there were 6 contemporary teachers. And in the whole Tipitaka, we find that Buddha does not talk about the inner any bad things related to other schools or other thoughts of that day. We see that Puranika Sapa Makhali Gosal, Sanjay Balati Put, Pagut Kachayan, and Nigantanath Put, how Buddha talks about it, and in the Samaya Phala Sutta, it is said that what are the fruits of leading a life of recluse. So Buddha talks about it, that how following the Panchasil, Dasasil or Atasil, a person can get a state of eternal bliss. So Buddha was very much conscious that other thoughts or other religious leaders must also develop their thoughts and the ideas. And in the whole Tipitaka, Buddha does not give any bad things to other religious thoughts or the order. And another best thing which Buddha talks about, that there are blessings from the mouth of the Buddha, but he does not give any curse to any religious order or any human being. So that is the best thing in our Tipitaka, what we find it. So related with the equality, we find that how Buddha was very much conscious about the equality of all human beings, and Buddha always says that all are equal, no one is inferior or superior. Whosoever thinks that one is superior or inferior, he is engrossed with the evil thoughts. Papakam dettigatam. Related with the second aspect, fraternity, Buddha talks about that how this fraternity can be developed. We see the concept of 4 Brahma Viharas, Metta, Karuna, Mudita and Upekha. So there are 2 aspects we find again and again, Bhavatu Sabba Mangalam and Arogino Khemino Hunti Sabbe Satta Bhavanti Sukhitatta. So these 2 statements are coming again and again in our Pali Tipitaka. And we find that how he talks about the fraternity, that all human beings must secure their well-beings. When he talks that Bhavatu Sabha Mangalam, let all the beings be healthy or well-being, and he says that Arugino Khemino Huntu Sabbe Satta Bhavantu Sukhitatta, let all beings be happy also. And they become also healthy, Arugino Khemino Huntu. So how he talks about the concept of fraternity, we find it. And for that we also find that 4 types of Brahma Viharas, that is the noble way of living, has been given in the Pali Tipitaka. But coming to other aspects, we see in the Mahaparinibbana Sutta how Buddha talks about the Sat Aparihaniya Dhamma. And if you go through the Sat Aparihaniya Dhamma, then we find that how Buddha talks about the fraternity in our society. If you see in the Mahaparinibbana Sutta, Buddha gives the teachings related with the Satta Aparihaniya Dhamma to the Bhajyans, and Buddha says that as long as the Bhajyans are following the Satta Aparihaniya Dhamma, no state can defeat that Bhajyans. So this was the statement, and if you see the whole Sata Parihaniya Dhamma, we will find that how Buddha is giving the teachings related with the fraternity. How he talks about the elder peoples, that elder peoples should assemble together, they should resolve their conflicts in the society or in the family members. They must give respect to the parents. They should give respect to the elders. Women must be protected. The rights of the women must be protected. And the fifth change is that the chaityas and the temples and the other things must be protected by a state. This is the one of the best thing of the fraternity in our society. And it also gives the sense of our secular ethics. Whatever we are talking about the secular ethics, in the respecting of the other chaityas and the temples and other thoughts and beliefs must be respected. So how he talks, and another the best thing in the Satta Parihaniya Dhamma has been given, that the persons who are desirous to enter into the territory of a state, he must be welcome, and his religion and belief must be respected. So this is the best thing, that whosoever thinks to come enter into the another state, his rights, religion must be protected. So these are some of the things of the fraternity. And in other texts also we see that how Acharya Santidev talks about the in Bodhicharya avatar related with the Paratma Samata. He talks about that all are equal and how the equality can be or fraternity can be achieved. And for that he gives the Paramartha Bodhicitta as well as Sampriti Bodhicitta, and how the concept of the Karuna can be developed. So he gives a lot of things related with the fraternity. And Acharya Santidev, if you find that how he talks about the secular ethics also in the text of Bodhicharya Avatar. Here secular ethics is nothing but it is respecting to other religions and the beliefs also. So this was one of the concepts we also find in the Mahaparinibbana Sutta, as well as we find in our Bodhicharya Avatar text of Acharya Santidev. His Holiness Dalai Lama talks a lot of things from the Bodhicharya Avatars and how ethics and the fraternity in the society can be developed. So he gives, Dalai Lama also talks about other texts also and how the concept of fraternity and other things can be developed. But in our Pali text and literature, there are a lot of things which are talking about it. In the Metta Sutta of our Suttanipat of Khuddaka Nikaya, Buddha has given that how the concept or the cultivation of the friendliness, metta bhavana can be developed to other human beings. So related with the fraternity, he talks about the concept of interdependence as well as interconnectedness. These two concepts are developed in our thoughts or the teachings of the Buddha, which are available in our Pali Tipitaka. So theory of interdependence is nothing but law of dependent originations. That is, all things are dependent on some cause and conditions. There is no self-independent entity. Whatever the things which are happening in our day-to-day life, they are dependent on some cause and conditions. So this theory of interdependence is related with the concept of fraternity as well as the interconnectedness. When Buddha talks about Charta Bhikkhave Charikam Bahujan Hitai, Bahujan Sukhai, Lokanukampai, Athai. Here the concept of Bahujan Hitai, Bahujan Sikhai gives the concept of the community as well as the well-being of the all human beings. So this concept of humanism has been developed with the concept of our interconnectedness. And another, the concept which our Reverend Tejavaro Mahathero was also talking that how the shared humanity can be developed from the teachings of the Buddha, how the concept of Maitri as well as Karuna, they can be developed as a shared humanity, and how people can live in a harmony, social harmony. And for that we also see that how Buddha talks, or how Acharya Nagsen talks in the Milind Pahiyo, that for the development of the moral dhammas, there are 5 faculties like Saddha, Sati, Samadhi, Briya and Panya. These faculty must be developed for inculcation or development of the moral dhammas. Another Mahathero was also talking about the role of the mind, that how we can control our mind for the development of Maitri and Karuna, for bringing a shared humanity as well as interconnectedness in a community level. So this concept of interconnectedness we are also having in the concept of law of dependent originations as well as in other teachings of the Buddha. So this shared humanity, whenever we are talking, we must develop our the Maitri and Karuna. These are the most thing, and this our mind is very much important in playing the role. And Buddha also talks about the intention and behavior. And Buddha says that Chaitana Bhikkhave Kambam Badami Chetitva Kai Kambam Pachi Kambam Manokambam. Oh monks, I call volition as an action, and through this volition, physical, vocal, and mental actions are being performed by a person. So we have to control our mind or the volition. And again, it is a chittam ti vichittam. All the actions, whether they are moral or immoral, they are being performed by our volition or the consciousness. So there is a need of controlling our mind. In Dhammapad also we see that how Buddha talks about Fandanam Chapalam Chittam Durakham Dunivaryam. Our consciousness is unsteady. It is very difficult to control it. And for controlling it, Buddha has given the 7 stages of purification in the Rath Vinita Sutta of Majjhima Nikaya. I am not going to detail of all the 7 stages of purifications. There are other modes of also purification of our consciousness. In Abhidhamma, we are seeing that how on the basis of planes of existence or on the basis of the class or jati, how we can purify our consciousness. So Buddha talks also about whenever we are talking about the equality and the fraternity, we have to control our consciousness and we have to purify our consciousness. So it is our consciousness which is being defiled, and whenever the consciousness is being defiled by the 10 kilesas or the defiling factors, we are in a state of suffering. So for the getting a state of purification, we must uproot all the kilesas or the defiling factors. So this is the one of the things, and how in the modern is Dr. B.R. Ambedkar also talks about equality and the fraternity. And in the Buddha and his Dhamma, Dr. B.R. Ambedkar says that I have taken the concept of equality and fraternity not from the French revolutions and other revolutions, but he has taken this concept equality and fraternity from the teachings of the Buddha available in Pali Tipitaka. So we see in the preamble of the Constitution, Indian Constitution of India, we see that how the concept of equality and fraternity have been given. We, the people of India, having so many resolved to constitute India in socialist, secular India, to secure all citizens in, that is the justice, liberty, fraternity. And whenever he talks about the fraternity, he talks in the preamble that fraternity of the dignity of the people, as well as he talks in the preamble that equality of all the human beings, all status of the people must be secure. So these are the concepts which are available in our Constitution of India. We have to follow it. The time is that how we are applying the teachings of the Buddha in our day-to-day life. We have to apply all the teachings of the Buddha related with equality and fraternity in our day-to-day life. Then we can secure all the human beings. We can live in a universal responsibility, as well as we can live in a state of social harmony. For that, we have to be very much conscious that how the teachings of the Buddha, which have been told by the Blessed One in the Tipitaka, how we are applying in our day-to-day life. Thank you very much.